If it wasn't documented, it didn't happen. Unfortunately, this is a situation many dentists find themselves facing. Many of the malpractice attorneys, if you go to listen to them lecture, they actually will tell you that a patient who is really angry about a bill, actually, that can a lot of times turn into a malpractice suit. So, when a patient gets this, they take it personally. I mean, who wouldn't, right? They may decide to sue you because they're unhappy with the treatment provided. What they're really unhappy about is the bill. But it is a very common cause of dental lawsuits. And lawyers often mention this, like I said, in the classes when they share their war stories. If they do file suit for that, that's definitely something your malpractice attorney is going to very much appreciate, that you kept notes on the fact that they didn't keep their appointment or that they were late with their payment. Again, not in the clinical, but in the patient record. And so what I would love for you to do is making sure that you could take a class, actually. Well, let me back up. That's why I'm going to urge you to check your malpractice attorney site and just make sure that you're documenting everything basically to their level, so that should they have to defend you in court, they'll have everything that they need in order to do that. Now, if you've attended any of my coding classes, you know that I like to say that, of course, documentation drives revenue. That's kind of my tagline. I know it's nerdy, but it's actually my tagline. We need to document not just to the level of the insurance carriers, which is definitely a common misconception. And you've heard me say this. While it's important to get the claims paid, my primary goal as your manager is to keep the doors open and to ensure that patients can continue to keep receiving care from us. So that means really making sure that you don't lose your license, because I want to make sure if there's any audits that you can withstand them all. So my standard for documentation is not to the level of the carriers, even though I focus on getting benefits from the carriers. But my standard for documentation is to the attorney or the jury that's reviewing your records. Now, keep in mind, that's a different and a more rigid standard. We often just think about getting our claims paid, which is great. I love getting claims paid. You know that. But I also want to ensure that we are documenting legally and to avoid repercussions, really, should it ever come back to us. There is no reason, actually, a patient should come back and be able to say, oh, look at this gap in your documentation. It actually wouldn't even be the patient saying that. It would be the patient's lawyer, which is really no fun. There's more to the story. Follow the link for the full episode.